Hey, everybody. You are tuning in to the freemattpodcast.
And it is free.
I don't charge for it. If I did, it'd be a lot. But the man you are looking at right here, the man with the flipper, the one and only Matt Freemat.
Hey!
I almost did a flip, get it, with saying I, General Matt Freemat, and this man over here is Pat Freepat.
But I'm not free.
He's a discount whore, but he still charges. He still charges.
So true, so true.
Man's got to make a living.
Very true, very true.
Welfare doesn't pay all the bills. It's like, what do unemployed gigolos do for money?
And that is a good question.
Like, do they just get discounts and?
I thought that was your profession. You were supposed to enlighten us.
2-for-1 ZJs, man. You looking for a ZJ? Hey, you and your buddy look like they could use a ZJ. Like, what's a ZJ? Don't ask that guy. No. Hey, man, $20? $20, man? 15 for both of you guys. Come on. You know, we're like, what the fuck? And we're like, he's kind of down and out, man. We had a economy tanked, you know. Mm-hmm. Kind of he-whores are out of business around here. It's like, he's like one of the last ones. Hey, man, $5 to flash your grandma? Make it 7. All right, 6. Like, damn, I hate working old folks home, but gotta make money. Gotta get bus fare. Anyway, folks.
Do we even have a bus around here?
Yeah, like the Lita or MCATs. I don't even go into that. There's a racist term what MCATs is, but Lita's somewhere else, but MCATs. Anyway, folks, the Free Matt Podcast, Libertarian Roundtable. We discuss, libertarian issues, economics, current events, social stuff.
Plus whatever the fuck we want.
Beer and pussy. Whoops.
Whoops.
Or we were only 2 minutes into it, and I think YouTube will find out we said pussy, and then.
Whoa, they got the algorithm set up for pussy now?
I don't know. I mean, does pussy require somebody to put parental controls in? Does anybody know that? I mean, do 13-year-olds not think of pussy, or it's what, 5 times pussy?
At 13 or 14, there's probably quite a few that think about it.
Think of what?
Pussy.
That's probably that's sex. Oh Lord. Hi folks, you're listening to the Pussy Podcast. I am Puss McPuss, and this man on my left is Snatch McGrably. Anyway, folks, we were gonna before we go into that dangerous segue here, talking about Poussoir. Lord, how do we go about this? We
just dive into it. Like
the free dive into like pussy. Truck stop. No. Swimming away with my flipper. Hey baby, I like your flipper. Give you a 20% discount. Thanks, man. Kind of hard on a guy that's horseshoe mustache these days.
Hard on a guy.
Hard on
a guy.
Pussy. No. Anyway, folks, we were going to discuss things, how libertarian ideas would improve your life. Not always, I guess, free, but I'd say competitive in trying to, let's say, your numbers and in your life and stuff that you could have somebody else do besides the DOT or the Somalia Department of Transportation, which I put out of business. But you want competition. You want
exactly. You want an actual market, unlike our education system.
I actually wanted to bring up an idea that I had heard about.
Ooh, idea.
It's one thing that people talk about. Privatizing the roads, and our brothers
roads.
Oh Lord, the roads people. But setting speed limits. the government hires people, statisticians and contractors to process the data and figure out, who drives here and, what's the average speed and they need to slow down and whatever. I honestly think that there ought to be like a network, like a AAA, that determines what speed limits are. Because some of them are stupid, but some of them are too fast. Like hitting a road, like my roads, 40 miles an hour, not far from where I work, here in northern Somalia. One of the weird things is hitting a corner when it's wet, going 40 miles an hour. But down the road, I mean, we have these little roads, they want you to go 25. And I was like, man, I could go 35 easy on this road. I said, where's like the AAA, like the volunteer AAA, service or somebody you could pay, and then they could have like conditions change, and there's 3 different suggested speed limits. Like sports cars handle better than a passenger car.
Yeah.
A Prius is
barely a car.
Well, we're not gonna go there, but
I did
the weight distribution and stuff. There's different other things that I'll say this much. Toyota, was it the not the Highlander, but the 4Runner maybe.
The 4Runner is the good one.
The
SUV,
the hybrid SUV.
I don't think that's the 4Runner, but they may have one now.
The weight distribution and the type of tires. You don't want to handle a vehicle like that going around corners going 40 miles an hour when it's wet, because you're going to have a tip over effect. And yeah, I'm talking about, like, honestly, they could go and using some type of a Bluetooth or wireless system, kind of like a GPS almost, and it would give you like suggested speed limits, and it would change. Like it rains, and it would drop down. And to be honest with you, people would probably be a little more safer. I'm not saying you're not going to find some, freaking gun a Navarone and have him flying around 80 miles an hour.
I think no matter what topic we discuss, unless it's something like financial or whatever, you're always going to have that guy, or that outlier. That's always going to be the problem child, if you will. If you will. So you're not going to get rid of that.
I just think that there's always some other type of solution. And people, I think if people are involved, I mean, you'd be surprised what nonprofits like churches and stuff did before the government got involved, before food stamps. Like before, like the New Deal, not the New Deal, what's the other one? The Great Society, Johnson's Great Society. And that's just big government. They should have just called it the big government. And people, they had community outreach. They had unions. You'd be surprised, like workers' unions, actually, what they did. It's funny. You had all sorts of things. You had, at a labor union, you had like unemployment insurance. You had all sorts of wild shit like that. And people were like, well, I'll pay into this. Why in the hell? I said, because you're paying a bunch of assholes to manage it for you. You have no skin in the game. It's not your organization.
It's the unintended consequences of having the government run it like it is.
It's a really piss poor business. Like the post office. At one time in the 1800s, we actually had a competitor to the post office, Lysander Spooter, libertarian. Actually, he was an anarchist, guys, but we'll call him that. He's a brother. He's your nutty cousin. But
that I understand.
But anyway, he outran the post office. Ended up having to basically just sue him and threaten to arrest him. That dude was good, but post office sucks. They make their money off of junk mail. They're not even good at moving packages. UPS moves packages. Their tracking information sucks. It's like you couldn't pay somebody to in your neighborhood to go pick the mail up every day. You could do that and just pay him a set amount, like a local jackass, and have him pick your mail up for you. I mean, you could do that. I mean, there's all sorts of shit you could have been doing. I told you about the mail system, and instead of having a standalone post office, do what they used to do. You got a box at the general store. You did. I mean, and you had Miss Betty give you your damn mail. but we always had a post office. They're like, are you
Well,
fucking
technically,
stupid?
from where I'm at, we don't have a post office still.
How do you live?
I wake up,
What
I drink beer, and then I notice my life is still the same.
Did y'all not resort to cannibalism because you didn't have a post office?
No,
Holy shit!
We drove a little more.
Holy fuck!
That's all we did. We drove.
I dropped the fuck. I said fuck again.
Did
That's
we
3
drop the
fucks in a row.
fuck? Oh,
It's 4 or 5
shit!
fucks.
There's the fuck.
6.
I found the fuck. It's on the
About
floor.
7. Sorry, we started with pussy and fell into a couple fucks. It's 9. But anyway, folks, that was little. I mean, that's minor league, bush league shit. And I'm like, oh, there's another one. But the thing is, there's so many things you could be doing. And the thing is, it would push you back into knowing your neighbors. Like, you would know your neighbors. You would know these are the people that you used to depend on.
I don't know if it will for the mail thing, but I know it would for in terms of charity, because most people, and they say, well, what do you mean charity? Because if you think about it, all of like the food stamps and all these other programs, WIC, if you took those away, people would see a problem. People would see people struggling. And that would cause other people to come in and be just like you were saying with the church groups, the labor unions. They would all come in because the quote-unquote safety net wouldn't be there. And I think that would be a good thing, because usually things that are run not by the government are run better and more efficiently.
Think of it this way, folks. You had... What's the best way to look at it? I mean, it's one thing you co-opt to the government, soulless people that have no skin in the game to run this. But people, I mean, it used to be that the charitable organizations, it doesn't matter who the background was, they were people that, when it had a face to it and they had a system of belief, like Salvation Army. I know a lot of gay people don't like Salvation Army, but Salvation Army does some damn good shit. And not just, ring the bell and give little kids a reason to go.
Around Christmas. Yeah.
It's more than that. I mean, you like a homeless shelter. Like, oh, they're bad with gays. And I was like, but they house more people than HUD, housing and urban development.
Urban development.
Like, how in the fuck did a bunch of kettle-ringing bastards, they house more people than, it's like people who need help. But you know what? You've been handing... your tax money to people like HUD, and you're wondering why they bought $25,000 desk and fine china for their wives. Like,
and the other thing I think that would, there are also plenty of instances where people talk about, prices of things, and I think a lot of that's due to a lack of competition. You blinded me by the light.
Right up like a douche is rolling in the night. Manfred Man.
That's one of those funky songs.
She got down, but she never...
What?
She got down, but she never gave up. Make it through the night.
It sounds like my favorite porn star.
Manfred Man. That's... I'm trying to think of that. Blinded.
I know. Yeah, the song. I know. Well, let me rephrase. I know the chorus to that funky, cheesy, crappy song.
It's almost as good.
You legitimately like that song.
It's almost as good as the Sailor Say Brandy.
Oh my God, folks!
We won't go there.
Does anybody need a podcast assistant? Help!
The pay is terrible. Horseshoe mustache people need not apply. Honduran Irishman preferred.
That's like I give one of my workout buddies hell because he listens to Rob Bailey, and it's like 4 or 5 words per song, and that's like it, and say different things like work for it or give it fucking all or whatever else and throw it in. I'm like, where's the rhythm? Where's the real song at? You know what I mean? Fucking. Anyway, side tangent.
How to make your life better.
Back on the track of, people talking about stuff costing more, and I think free markets and competition is the best way you drive prices down.
To find efficiencies, to find the appropriate technology for situations.
Yeah, I mean, and that applies especially to the big two that are up our butts every day, which is, in my terms, would be the educational system and the Medicare, whatever insurance, the way it's run.
And it only benefits certain companies.
Exactly.
It's not benefiting a local company. It's not benefiting. It's basically the people that are big enough to play the game.
Pretty much. I mean, it's dang sure not benefiting us. If we got the government out of the way, and let not only insurance be sold over every state imaginable, but any kind of free market thing you could apply to it, the prices would drop because there would be competition.
Well, that and different types of plans and limits to the plans, and there's so many things that I guarantee I was paying for I don't need. And I guarantee you're like, well, they can cover it, and it doesn't cost any more, any less to have, your fourth podiatrist visit a year is free or whatever.
Sometimes those are needed. Just saying.
Well,
all the people that wear boots every day know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, me too. I'm wearing them now because it's hard for me to tie shoes. But, Lord, folks, you'd be surprised what the government does, and you'd be surprised
in a bad way.
Beer labeling, we spend money on beer labeling.
Black Patch, yeah.
Or
they had a labeling issue.
Why don't you just know what the fuck you're putting in your mouth? Are you that? More sock and one cock. Kind of fucked up pervert podcast. That's another fuck. That's what, 12?
Fuck.
No, smoking weed. Because every libertarian is higher than Jesus. No, I'm just kidding.
Not everyone.
Well, they're all atheists, so they're obviously higher than Jesus. But
well, that's true.
Because no Christian could ever be a libertarian. That's the problem.
I don't know about that.
Well, we've got a scam going on somewhere. But anyway, folks, the whole Lord, you'd be surprised what people are doing in your life. Food inspection, well, we have to have safe food. Well, don't eat shitty food. You're like, what do you mean?
That's one problem that, in my opinion, would fix itself, because you would eat somewhere, get sick, and if that happened to enough people, they wouldn't have any business.
Well, the people in the town would probably burn the place to the ground.
That's what I'm saying. That's the kind of problem that would cure itself over time. At least I feel that way.
That and the USDA and FDA, non-profit organizations could do this. Look, I'll give you an example. How is it that a rabbinical organization, which is rabbinical, like Jews, rabbi,
okay,
they inspect and you see K on top of a drink.
Kosher?
Kosher, yeah. The Star is one rabbinical organization, and I'm not trying to, there's another one with a U and a little sign, a little squiggly line and stuff. I don't know the individual ones, and one of them's out of Dallas, Texas. But the weirdest thing is, people pay to have their kosher certification. Why can't you, as a local organization, pay to be certified clean by the Lower Mogadishu Beef Confederation? Edible by, it's Flynn's Beef Management, and it says a big F for
F-U.
Flynn's Union, the Flynn's Beef Union, or FU.
You will love our meat in your mouth.
For a delicious treat, you can't beat our meat. I actually stole that from a movie. It was like a singing, dancing hot dog. For a delicious treat, you can't beat my meat. You know.
Huh.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Oh,
The movie.
yeah. I mean, I've only seen a few episodes of that.
Mastodon did the song at the beginning.
Zach Wilde was on there too.
Those little, the little donuts. Linoleum knife.
Now I want a friggin' red light Krispy Kreme, you bastard.
Sounds good.
I know. Only when the red light's on, though. If the red light's not on, we going to K-Mac.
The red light.
The red light district of
Lower Mogadishu. Donuts. Like, how crass is this? Like, you libertarians, this is a crass podcast. All you say is fuck and pussy and talk about licking donuts. Anyway.
And yet, I got a feeling there are some people that are like, these are my people.
Another thing, the FCC.
Won't let me be.
Yeah. They won't, and I will tell you why. Because they have a bunch of, like, career assholes who get a job at the FCC. Michael Powell was one of them. Probably end up getting sued, but I'm going to just tell you, fuck that guy. And the whole thing is, people get jobs in the FCC. They nitpick a movie or they put
lyrics.
Saving Private Ryan.
Saving Ryan's Privates.
I remember that. It's a long story behind that one, but that's a wrestling reference. Yes, it's a wrestling reference.
Oh.
But anyway, guys, the whole thing is a local organization like a church group, even though I don't want to give church groups that kind of power, but a local organization like that in a community could put out their own, like a newsletter saying, you know, the Free Matt Podcast or, you know, Flynn's Ass Cheek Review is, you know, not suitable for kids. And the whole thing is, we're like, that would cover you. You're like, well, you know, I said the local movie review company says this is terrible. And then your nonprofits would do that. You know what they used to do? Crap like that. They're like, we are out protesting the movie theaters and they shouldn't be showing, you know, Flynn's Butt Cheek Review, you know, or whatever stupid, you know, movie you had. But anyway, folks, that's the whole thing. FCC's garbage. I was like, I'm sorry. And you know what? They weren't even able to adjust to the internet.
Yeah,
like,
and I really hate it in terms of music and like artist censorship. I really freaking hate it.
Would you say you fucking hate it?
Yes, I fucking hate it.
Nice. Here we are.
What about the kids and impressionable young ones? What about being a parent, letting them know what's right and wrong and what's acceptable and not?
Oh, the alcohol prohibition people in a town not far from Little Mogadishu here. And the one thing they were like, what about the children? And I'm like, why don't you be a parent? Like,
yeah.
But there'll be kids in the ditches. I said, there'll be your kids because you're a shitty parent. You come to Uncle Matt.
That's really it. I mean, I honestly wonder, because we talk about accountability a lot, and at least maybe not on this show, but we definitely talk about it in our conversations and stuff. And I'm wondering if part of the reason the accountability factor is the way that it is because everybody is holding the government accountable and not taking individual accountability for it. Does that make sense?
Yes. Honestly, look, if a person doesn't cause injury to your property or yourself, that includes, you know, I told you loss of life or property, obviously.
Yeah. What's the old adage? Don't hurt people and don't take their stuff.
It's not. I don't feel like there's a lot of these things are crimes. Now, somebody's like, well, what happens if they do kill somebody? I said, it doesn't change the fact if I hit you when I was drunk versus I hit you when I was sober and killed you. I took away somebody's life. Or I injured them. Or I destroyed your car. Just because you're drunk, we're like, well, it costs more. No, you're the same asshole. It's not causality. It doesn't stop you from being an asshole. You're like, what causes? Drinking causes. I was like, look, being horny causes terrible things. Like children. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not.
You know how many times women have gotten knocked up because of horny guys? A lot. I mean, we're talking about causalities here. But the one time, I mean, you can do it sober, or you're wrong if you kill somebody sober. If you take their life, but because of negligence.
Well, I'd say you're wrong unless they tried to kill you first.
I mean, look, negligence.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Look, I don't care if they're drunk or if they're sober. If you're negligent, you're negligent. And I know there's levels of negligence. There's levels, but most people that are drunk drivers, they do not have malice, the amount of malice to like murder somebody with a car. Mm-hmm. But it's funny, a DUI person who accidentally killed somebody in a car crash, and they try to give them like involuntary manslaughter. They're just assholes.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I mean, like not murder 3 or the lower end murder, whatever it is. They're like, I was like, dude, you're stretching it for fucking manslaughter. They're just assholes. And you're like, the thing is, when you put them in the court system, it never makes whole the victims.
True.
The government benefits from this.
And nothing ever would make the victims whole. Let's be straight about that, too.
The government benefits for this, and I don't get it. I was like, why do you keep doing this? Why do you, like I drove home and I smashed into somebody, like plow through their house. These people probably I won't pay to fix their house because I'll be in jail. I'll be paying court costs to the government. The government benefits from your family dying. DUI laws. Throwing people in jail for longer. Like, jail is not justice. People are like, oh, that is justice.
No, that I agree. Jail's a freaking racket.
It doesn't benefit the actual victims. And the thing is, it used to be even like people are hardcore in Jesus' time, but they, real ass clowns. You're supposed to make the family whole. Like, you do some really bad shit, and it's the way it is in Saudi Arabia, like blood money. Like, there's a guy who killed these 2 kids or something. It's like $1 million in blood money. But it was supposed to make them whole. And the thing is, you have a chance to make it right. I'm not saying you're going to pay your way out. Like we're in.
Yeah.
There's no causality. Like a drunk driver's like, well, I only got to get $100,000 maybe and go out and get drunk and kill another kid. No drunk drivers are running out trying to kill kids. Believe me, if they are, they're few and far between. Mm-hmm. It's a bad causality argument to say, well, there's only $10,000 to get this guy out. I was like, he can go get drunk and kill another kid. He's like, I just got out of jail. $10,000? I got $10,000 more dollars. I might as well go just plow through a playground, They're like sickos. You're like, that's a really bad joke. Fuck it,
Screw it.
Oh, Lord. We're coming up on a 30-minute mark.
Oh, shit.
Any closing remarks there?
What happens when the shit rolls downhill?
Any...
I need another beer.
We are going to close with drinking another beer, but I will. Do you have any parting wisdom? Or?
No, really, I don't. I just think that overall, what we're doing can only go so far, and adding more restrictions and government to the mix is not making our situations better. I think most of our problems can be solved by rolling back. Notice I said rolling back and not get rid of entirely. In other words, baby steps, war of inches, roll back regulation across all the boards in most all industries would make our lives as a consumer and an individual better.
I second that motion, but I did want to close with parting wisdom. As always, I want you to, as always, I've said before, I want you to love others as you would want them to love you. And I want you to do and be. I said do great things, be productive, do be. And not Doobie like the brothers.
I was going there, man. I was going
Is it
there.
like listen to the music? Like, whoa, listen to the music.
You beat me to it.
I was trying to think of like China Grove, but which one of those is Steely Dan? Whoa, China Grove.
I don't know. I don't listen to the Dan of Steely, so I don't know.
Anyway, folks, many blessings. Please have a good one. Please love one another as always.
Holla!